Good morning, it's Gatesy from the West Ham Massive. I hope you are all good. Monday morning as I record this, it's a little bit grey, but there you go. Anyway, if you're new around here, don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that bell icon and click all as and when anything's added to the channel. Like such as this, you'll be given a notification as if by magic. So, just wanted to do a quick recording. Just seen a little story which has piqued my interest, and I'd be very interested to know what you guys think in the comments section below. Please do get involved in this. So we've obviously had a pretty good start to the season, it's fair to say, much better than the start that we sustained in the previous season. We've lost 2 games in the league, that's true, but let's be completely honest, they were probably games that you thought we were going to lose anyway. Away at Anfield is pretty much a hopeless task over the years, other than one time in my lifetime when we managed to get a 3-0 win in the Premier League under Slaven Bilic in 2015. And obviously the game at home to Manchester City. I don't think we were a shambles in either outing, excuse me, I think it has to be said. One of the star turns of this season thus far, though, has been a certain Jarrod Bowen. Now, as I record this, 7 Premier League appearances, 5 goals, 1 assist, absolutely outstanding, and again, an improvement from 1 year earlier when his poor form pretty much cost him his place, any chance of him getting on the plane and going to Qatar for the World Cup with England. I think he'd have been hard pressed to manage it, because let's be completely honest, it's a position that England has a plethora of talent that they can choose from. But I think he was in the conversation with the form that he was in at the end of the previous season, but at the beginning of last season it just didn't happen. Obviously when he came, the season resumed after the World Cup and after the new year, his form took an upsurge. And this season he's carried on where he left off last season. Absolutely outstanding there on the right wing. On occasions he's been found in the number 9 position, and when he's been finding himself there, he's been absolutely deadly. Now, that's fantastic, that's all well and good. But here's the thing that seems to have flown under the radar, and I was not really too aware of it, and it's something that all of a sudden has been brought into sharp focus, is Jarrod Bowen. His contract runs out in the summer of 2025. So at the end of the 24-25 season, as things stand at the moment, he can walk away for nothing. Now I would suggest that at the moment, if Jarrod Bowen were to be available on the market, let's just say hypothetically this was the transfer window time and we was looking to move Jarrod Bowen on, I think we could probably expect on current form to be looking at maybe an £85 million player. Maybe more, maybe less, you might agree, you might disagree. Again, you've got a comment section below. Please fire away and let me know your thoughts. But he's obviously someone that's quite an asset here, and he will be quite sought after if he comes onto the open market, which, given that he's going to have 1 year left to run when the season concludes, may well be the case. Now, that's something I really don't think we can allow to happen. Definitely we wouldn't get 80 million, I don't believe, if we allow him to get to the summer and he's got 1 year left in his contract, because we lose all of our leverage at that point. Unlike what we had with Declan Rice, where we had him 2 years left, we had some leverage that we could use against Arsenal to get the 105 million quid. Now, we won't have that leverage. Now, I do wonder how much of the fact that as this particular moment in time is concerned, that Jarrod Bowen has not put pen to paper on a new deal to extend his time at the London Stadium, how much of it is tied in with the uncertainty around our manager, David Moyes? Now, again, David Moyes, as this moment in time, whether you're a Moyes in, Moyes out, or Moyes neutral, at this precise moment in time, this is his final season as a West Ham manager, unless he puts pen to paper and agrees a new deal. Now, I believe it was after the Luton game where we went away to Kenilworth Road 1-2-1. I think he had an interview afterwards on the pitch from memory, and I think he alluded to the fact that there's a bit of disrespect in his perception that's coming the way of David Moyes that's a little bit unfair. But I do wonder whether he's, Jarrod Bowen this is, maybe hanging fire on putting a new deal in place until he knows what's happening with the manager. Because I guess from his point of view, if David Moyes is someone that Jarrod Bowen believes is the man to get the very best out of him, and again, whether you or I agree with that is another matter, but if he believes that he is it that Jarrod Bowen is hanging fire to see what happens with David Moyes? Because if David Moyes, in Jarrod Bowen's mind, is the guy that he believes is going to get the very best out of him, but he's off in the summer, who replaces him might not fancy Jarrod Bowen, might not play in a way that plays to Jarrod Bowen's strengths, might not get the very best out of Jarrod Bowen. So is the uncertainty with David Moyes' tenure at West Ham having the knock-on effect of causing, arguably at the moment, our best player to be reluctant to put pen to paper on a new deal? I don't know. It's something we need to sort out, and this is both the David Moyes situation and the Jarrod Bowen one. For me, I believe they are inextricably linked. I believe that we need to have some sort of clarity, we need to have some sort of certainty on where we go from here, because for me, if Jarrod Bowen isn't going to put pen to paper, and neither is David Moyes, look, the manager, yeah, fine, it is what it is, but the manager doesn't have a commercial value to the club. He's not an asset in that same way. You know, managers don't get transferred for tens of £1 million transfer fees. Players do. Now for me, if we know, and we should have an idea, if David Moyes isn't signing because David Moyes isn't going to sign, and therefore Jarrod Bowen doesn't either, regrettably, it may become necessary. I don't like it, and I hope that this doesn't come to pass. We might even have to consider moving him on in January, possibly. Again, I don't want to. I'm not openly advocating it. I'm just saying, if we know David Moyes, and it is all ifs, if we know that David Moyes is not going to sign a new deal and he's off in the summer, and if we know as a byproduct of that, Jarrod Bowen won't, which means that he will only have 1 year left on his deal when we come to the summer, I think, if we know that now, we might have to bite the bullet and take what we can for Jarrod Bowen in January. Now with that, I suspect there's going to be an awful lot of interested people. I think probably the only club that I can see Jarrod Bowen maybe being a squad player at, really, is Manchester City, and there's no shame in that. I think everywhere else, I mean, even Liverpool, I think he's got a good chance of doing something there, for the simple reason that in all likelihood I think Mohamed Salah is off in the summer. He'd be a ready-made replacement for him. I think he'd go in there and he'd do fantastically well under a manager like Jurgen Klopp. But I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope that we can get some sort of certainty about how this is going to go. I think I just, you know, really don't want to see Jarrod Bowen going and pulling on a shirt for another club. He's still, I don't think he's hit his prime yet. Don't think he's hit his peak. I think he's approaching it. Like I say, 7 appearances, 5 goals, 1 assist in the Premier League. Brilliant start. But what do you think? I mean, do you think that they're tied in? The uncertainty about David Moyes is also having a knock-on effect, and the reason why Jarrod Bowen is also not putting pen to paper? And do you think that if David Moyes, we know because I'm sure there have been conversations behind the scenes. If we know that David Moyes is not interested in extending his stay, and we know that as a byproduct of that, neither will Jarrod Bowen, do we need to consider selling him in January? Let me know your thoughts. You've got the comment section below. As I say, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, hit the bell notification, click all, you'll be notified of any new content as and when it's uploaded to the channel. Thanks for joining me, stay safe, come on you Irons.
West Ham Massive are pleased to support Irons Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham and Essex communities. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, Barking and Dagenham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of the video details of this stream on YouTube. Thank you for your support. Come on you Irons.